Jamie, let's get to your top headlines. These stories are real new now. The first female firefighter in the city of Nixa is now suing the department for sexual harassment. Her attorney explains the allegations.
A law passed by Missouri voters in 2018 could be back on the ballot again in the future. Why Missouri Republicans want another vote on Clean Missouri.
After almost a year of construction, we take you inside a brand new jail in Douglas County. Those stories and more. Ozarks Fox News at 9 starts right now.
Real, new, now. This is Ozarks Fox News at 9.
Well, good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm John Adams.
And I'm Jennifer Abreu. Let's begin with our top story tonight. Just 3 years ago, the Nixa Fire Protection District hired its first female firefighter, but now she is suing the department.
Dana Osborne alleges several forms of sexual harassment as well as other forms of mistreatment as well. Our Jesse Inman spoke with her attorney today to get an understanding of what these accusations are. Now, Jesse, what is Osborne's side of the story?
Yeah, guys, Dana Osborne is indeed the first female firefighter there at Nixa, and her lawyer tells me that she was treated unfairly and has been subjected to several forms of sexual harassment. Now, Osborne is suing 6 total parties in this case. She's suing the fire department as a whole, as well as its board of directors. In addition to that, Osborne alleges the captain is the main perpetrator of these acts, but also holds the chief responsible and 2 other firefighters as well. Now, as far as what some of these instances include, Osborne alleges that she received pictures of her co-workers' genitals, those being unsolicited. She also claims that they watched porn at work while she was there. Osborne says that she was critiqued also on a different basis than her male co-workers in several different ways. Now, this was filed last week, but Osborne's attorney says that she actually still works there, as do the others that are named in this suit, and her attorney says that it's been an odd experience for her client.
At work, they mostly just give her the cold shoulder. They ostracize her. I think the ball's in Nixa's court right now to make sure that she's able to fulfill her job and continue to work while this is going on, and that they protect her and do something about this behavior. So far, after this complaint's been filed, nothing's changed.
Now, Osborne's attorney says that she's made numerous complaints in the past couple of years that have fallen on deaf ears, which finally led to this formal complaint here that we're telling you about. Now, I made multiple attempts to reach out to the Nixa Fire Protection District for a comment from them or even some legal representation, and none of those calls were returned tonight.
All right, Jesse, thank you. New at 9 tonight, a repeal of the redistricting aspect of Clean Missouri is one step closer to being on a ballot for you to vote on again.
I did my job in the Senate. Now it'll be up to the House to move through, the process that they see fit.
Last week, we told you the Missouri State Senate was moving forward to repeal the redistricting aspect of Clean Missouri. That's Amendment 1 to the Missouri Constitution, which voters approved in 2018. Now it's even closer after the State Senate approved the new resolution, and it now heads to the Senate House of Representatives. Our Madison Heaver has been following the story. Madison, what kinds of changes can people expect for this resolution if it passes and it eventually is on the ballot again?
Yeah, Jen, under the current Amendment 1, a nonpartisan state demographer would be hired to draw district lines. Now, the redrawing of district lines happens every 10 years after the census is completed, so voters in certain areas can be better represented by their elected officials. This resolution that made it out of the state Senate yesterday and into the state House would do away with that nonpartisan demographer and instead rely on current bipartisan commissions in both the House and Senate to draw the lines themselves. Republicans say they're doing this to prevent the state demographer from drawing district lines that favor Democrats. Democrats say Republicans are attempting to overturn the will of the voters. But yesterday, Republican State Senator Lincoln Huff voted against his own party. He says he would rather wait for the already voter-approved Amendment 1 to play itself out instead of trying to fix something that hasn't happened yet.
I hope that no matter what happens with this, that communities of like interest and like size are kept intact no matter how these maps are drawn, because to me, that's the most important thing, is making sure the voters feel accurately represented by members of the House and the Senate. And what I always like to remind my colleagues is, at the end of the day, if you think you're doing the right thing for your constituents, I don't think anyone can argue with you.
Democratic Springfield State Representative Crystal Quaid praised Huff yesterday for voting against the resolution, saying, quote, "I'm thankful he's listening to his constituents." The resolution will now play out in the House, and if it passes all avenues, it'll end up on a ballot for you to vote on once again.
All right, Madison, thank you. Well, taking a look around the Ozarks tonight, after almost a year of construction, the influx of inmates in Douglas County finally have a new facility to stay in. Our Francis Lynn toured the new 12,000 square foot facility today that can now hold 48 inmates and shows us how this new jail is a major upgrade.
The design of this new jail in Douglas County allows jailers to operate with little to no contact with inmates, increasing the safety of everyone.
The dispatch and the jailer can control this facility 100% from setting up there in the dispatch area.
The jail has a total of 4 pods. Some pods, like this one with a more open dormitory style, house people who committed non-violent crimes. And other pods include a more secure lockup for people who are accused of more serious crimes.
We don't hold that many violent offenders. If it's maximum security, they could spend up to 23 hours a day in here.
There are even smaller cells that hold only 2 people.
Just having this capability to segregate somebody from the group will alleviate a lot of problems.
And there's also a room specifically designed for people who want to hurt themselves. Because there's nothing in here.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And these are pads.
Oh. Wow.
Yes.
It's very soft.
Yeah. They're monitored by the camera 24/7.
Almost everything in this new jail is controlled through computers, something that was not an option at their current facility. Jailers are calling archaic.
We're about as ancient as we could be in the current jail. It's easy. You touch it, unlock. My jailers carry a wand. They walk up here, they touch it. It automatically records date, time, who did it, everything.
There are also 2 phones inmates can use. One of them has video capabilities.
It serves a lot of purposes. They have to sign off that they've read our jail rules.
Francis Lynn, Ozarks First.
The Fasco Water Tower in Ozark was demolished today. It was located at Highway 65 and Jackson. The city says the tower would have needed a new paint job inside and out, which would have cost about $500,000, and it only served about 30 customers. Another water tower, the one near Walmart in Ozark, will also be demolished soon, although no date has been set yet for that one. The city says that tower is too short to be useful and the site has no well.
Well, making local interest tonight, we begin our Remarkable Women series. For the next few weeks, we'll be shining a light on some women of the Ozarks who are doing remarkable things in their community. To kick things off tonight, our Nija McDonald met with one woman named Laura Garten who lives in Lebanon. She's a business owner and started a nonprofit for foster families, a community Garten finds herself a part of.
Laura Garten owns a vape shop in Lebanon.
I have a lot of very loyal customers.
But says her passion lies in her nonprofit Live to Give Hope, which helps assist foster families in Laclede County.
In May of 17, I started fostering, and then through that experience realized the immense needs that existed in the foster care community.
Sparking the creation of the group's Fostering Hope Closet, which provides
free resources for foster families. They can come in and get anything that they, over a third of the clients that come in are getting things for emergency new placement.
Something that occurs more often than you might think.
We have about 500 children in foster care here in the circuit, which is Laclede, Camden, Miller, Morgan, and Montauk counties.
And without things like a bed and clothing, a child in need of a fresh start can't be placed into a foster home.
There aren't that many licensed foster homes, and so that's who they call. And so it doesn't matter if you have 1 kid or you've got 4 kids. And most of the people who foster, you know, we can't say no. We have a heart for these kids.
Garten says she hopes the closet helps these families focus on what matters most.
We don't want somebody who's got a good heart who says, I can't do this because I'm not rich, and say, we will take care of that. And so instead of you having to go purchase everything, we will provide it for you. And then that way you can focus on providing love and care for that child.
She says the nonprofit also provides a 4-hour break for parents to get some alone time for things like a date night or even to just take a nap.
They're incredibly thankful, and it warms our heart, and that's what keeps us going because it is so needed.
Garten says she dreams of one day having a building large enough to house both the closet and the nonprofit's admin office.
That was our Nigel McDonald reporting. Now you can visit our website at ozarksfirst.com to learn more about the organization and how you can help. And be sure to tune in next Tuesday for another story on remarkable women here in the Ozarks. Then on March 6th, we will announce the winner who will fly to New York City for the Mel Robbins Show.
Checking in with Jamie for some weather coverage. Jamie, we had some snow last night, some more snow on the way, but not much for Springfield, right?
Yeah, it looks like this next go-round is going to focus across areas well to the north of Springfield. In fact, closer to central Missouri. But that doesn't mean that we couldn't see a little bit of snow tomorrow night. I'll have more on this and a big warm-up that we'll be enjoying over the weekend coming up.
You're watching Ozarks Fox News at 9 with John Adams, Jennifer Abreu, and weather with Chief Meteorologist